Welcome to the Equinety Podcast, where horse owners just like you share their incredible Equinety stories and how Equinety is changing their horses' lives. Whether you're searching for something to give your performance horse better focus, faster recovery, and more stamina, or in the extreme case where all hope seems lost, give your horse what it needs to help heal at a cellular level, you'll find it here. So jump in on today's episode to hear how Equinety is helping horses worldwide. Now, welcome your host, John Dowdy.
All right, hello. Welcome to another Equinety Podcast. I am really excited. We've got Linda Briles on from Garden City, Kansas. And, let's get right into it. Linda, welcome to the Equinety Podcast.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy that you called because I do want to share my experience with your product, Equinety, for a horse that really needed some help.
Well, and I'm excited to have you on because, let's give a little bit of your background. You've been a riding instructor for 50 years. You're a pre-vet student. What are some of the other things that you've been involved with in the horse world?
Well, I showed when I was in high school, all Western. When my daughter got into English, we did a lot of eventing and got very involved with the United States Pony Club, where I was the vice RS of the Rocky Mountain region. And I was also on their instruction council in Kentucky for 2 years. We got into cutting, did a lot of cutting, and I had 19 students and boarded 20 horses. This was in Fort Collins, Colorado, where I had gone to Colorado State University in pre-vet. And I foaled out a lot of mares for people. And so I have a lot of experience with horses, and then have been following my daughter around the state of Kansas because of the grandchildren. And so I've ended up down here in Garden City with my horses.
Nice.
And I'm giving,
And you're giving lessons now still?
Yes.
That's fantastic. Well, that is quite a background. So you know your horses. I do. That goes without saying. So let's get into the meat of this particular podcast. And then one of the reasons I'm excited to have you on is because you have 7 horses currently, but one of them is a 19-year-old, and you've been battling with severe laminitis for the past 6 years. Tell us a little bit about that, and what are some of the things that you've been doing to try to help this situation?
Yeah, I probably didn't recognize what was going on at first, although 6 years or even 7 years ago, he was urinating a lot, and he would not want to lift one foot up, and we just thought maybe he was out of shape, but he started lying down. He couldn't walk. He was gritting his teeth. And, we had the veterinarian, I was living in Topeka at that time, come out and said that he had laminitis. We tried changing his diet. It didn't seem to matter what we did. He would be up and down a lot, and to the point where we couldn't use him I used him as a schooling horse. He was a cutting horse in his younger years. And got down here to Garden City, and most of the time he would be lying down. He would have lapses where he wouldn't be so bad, maybe for a month or so. My farrier that I had during the first 5 years pretty well gave up on him and told me that I should probably put him down. And I didn't feel that I could. And I saw this advertisement on Facebook for Equinety, and I thought, I'm going to give it a try. And I had tried turmeric because I've seen a lot of results with my horses when they've started to colic or have some problems. The turmeric has really worked really well, but it's an anti-inflammatory painkiller, and so it didn't really solve the problem until I started using the Equinety, which I noticed this horse was lying down, gritting his teeth. I had to make him get up to walk out, to go out into a corral during the day. Within 3 days, I noticed that one morning I walked in, he was standing up. That was a good sign, and less urine. Within a week, he was walking out to his corral, still very carefully. And then there was an interim where I didn't have a farrier, but I found a really good one. Showed him the book of how I wanted his hooves redone and the angles, And so the first time that he did his hooves, we put him with pads and, did the correct angle, took the toe off. And it was hard for him to hold his feet up very long. The next time he came out, 6 weeks later, now this is when he's been on the Equinety, he could not believe the difference. And now the horse is cantering in the pasture. He keeps company with a horse that's almost 40 that's just lost his eyesight. And I've actually put him on it. I'm, hoping for some crazy miracle. But this horse doesn't urinate like he used to. I never see him lie down. He's not in pain. And I just started giving him his first lesson last week.
Holy smokes.
I'm thrilled.
Wow, that is an amazing story. Absolutely amazing.
And it's not a placebo. A horse doesn't, it's a placebo because it really, and now I have 7 horses. I've put them all on it. There's no symptoms, but I don't think it could hurt them.
Right. Now, with you being in the horse industry for as long as you have, I'm sure you have seen a lot of things on the market. I'm sure you've tried a lot of different things through the years. And when you ran into the Equinety, and of course you were at a point where you didn't know what else to do, and of course your farrier at the time was at his wit's end, and he's just telling you, well, you should just put the horse down because he doesn't have any answers. But with all with all the things that you've seen, and I'm sure there's some great things out there that work absolutely fantastic. But when you compare, your history with horses and the different things that you've tried, and then you see the results with Equinety, what was just your immediate reaction to what you were seeing?
I just thank God. I mean, that I found this on, I think it was meant to be for me to see this on Facebook when, I was being told that I should put this horse down. And it's just amazing. It's just wonderful. Mm-hmm. It is. It's wonderful.
Yeah, I tell you, we are definitely blessed as a company. It's we had no idea it was going to take off like this in the horse industry, and I encourage anybody that is dealing with a situation and maybe you've tried everything under the sun, just give this product a try because, you never know. The odds of it working are, I will say, on the high side. As a matter of fact, over a 6-month period, we've had at least, that I know of, from phone calls, emails, messages coming through on Facebook, 50 plus people that were dealing with a mystery lameness. And of course, in your scenario, we're dealing with severe laminitis. But in these scenarios, it was just a mystery lameness. Nobody had any idea what was going on. And as a matter of fact, I'll tell you a quick story for those listening. And about a month ago, there was a lady that called in. It was a Monday or Tuesday. And she says, listen, I've been dealing with this mystery lameness for a long time. I've got the vet coming out on Friday to put this horse down because we don't know what else to do. We've tried everything else. And I came across your product and just wanted to know if you thought it would help. And I said, well, we don't know until we try. Would you be okay with putting that appointment off? And she goes, yeah, sure, I'll put that off. So she calls me about a month later, which was just a week and a half ago. And she goes, hey, I just wanted to give you an update. She goes, the grave was dug. It's all roped off. Now my horse is not 100%, but she's doing so much better that I would never dream of putting this horse down. And, these are the types of stories that we hear all the time. And when you told me this story about yours and dealing with specifically with the laminitis, it's like, oh my gosh. And now with all the things that he's been through and now given the first writing lesson just last week, that's wild.
It is. I mean, I just can't believe it. It's just it's a miracle to me. Mm-hmm. It really, he'll be on it the rest of his life.
That's great.
And
yeah,
it's wonderful. you so much.
Yeah, well, I can't take all the credit, that's for sure. I wasn't the brains behind putting it all together. But for anybody that's listening into this podcast for the first time that still might be on the fence a little bit, that might think, okay, well, this is too good to be true, what advice or what would you have to tell them that might bring them over to just give it a try?
Well, I just think you have to have a gut instinct of whether, I mean, you know, I don't know why. When I read about it, I just thought, this has got to be it. And you know, within 3 days, I mean, I did with this. I mean, this horse, I have pictures of him lying down where he's just absolutely gritting his teeth. He's in so much pain. I mean, it was horrible. And not, you know, off and on over these last 6 years. There's nothing. It's gone. So I don't know, you know, I mean, I can send pictures. If somebody wants to see pictures, I've got pictures of him.
Yeah.
Down and so, I mean, I don't know how else to. It's just a fabulous product. You should try it. Why not?
Yeah. Well, actually, if you'll email those pictures over, then what we'll do is below the podcast on the teamequinety.com website, where this podcast will be posted, it'll also be transcribed. But we'll put some pictures, video. If you have any video, we'll put that below there so everybody can take a look. And I would suggest pictures are best because one of the previous podcasts, our guest did not have a way to take pictures. So she actually described her horse to me. So I told her I was going to draw an image. And let's just say I should not take up the world of art. So, yeah, it was kind of humorous. But anyways, so send those over. We'll post those so everybody can take a look. And Linda, thank you so much. Linda Briles from Garden City, Kansas. Thank you so much for taking the time to share your Equinety story.
It's worth it. If it's going to help somebody else's horse, I hope they'll try it.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, thank you so much.
Okay.
All right. Bye-bye.
That's all for this episode of the Equinety Podcast. For more information on purchasing Equinety, be sure to visit our website at teamequinety.com, where you'll also find product information as well as more testimonials on how others have seen amazing results by implementing Equinety into their horse's supplement regime. We'll have more stories on how Equinety is helping horses worldwide right here on a future episode of the Equinety Podcast.